Hello and welcome to the Swine Brothers Show, episode 116 for the 9th, I think, of October, 10th of October 2016. I don't know. You can email us at ellindamood@gmail.com. Facebook is still Swine Brothers, and Twitter is always SwineBros666. I'm again your host, Ellie Lindamood, and my co-host is.
I am the Jim. I defecate on the universe and enjoy it.
And Chaz has decided to disassociate himself with us, or he's at work. But I prefer the latter because fuck him.
Okay.
We will have the chat open again, so if you'd like to leave questions, comments, or accusations of anything at us, do not fail to type, and I will read them out. Unless yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. We don't care anymore.
I had a good day at the Rallycross races yesterday. Sunburnt as hell, but fun. And here we are. No medal articles today, I don't think, unless one pops up before the end of the show randomly. In which case, we'll of course read it. But let's start off with whatever Jim wants to start. I don't know.
Oh, well, it's just because I keep laughing at it every time I see people doing this virtue, kind of like, I am the moral one and you are evil. Many men talk like Donald Trump in private, and only other men can stop them. Yeah.
I don't really talk like Donald Trump in private. I have a less of a New York accent, or
Yes, I know this is the fucking bullshit. Anyways, I know Donald Trump. Though we have never met, I know him well. At several moments throughout the campaign, I have felt that something about Trump was disturbingly familiar, but I couldn't quite pinpoint it.
yes, because you know many billionaires.
I don't know any billionaires.
I was saying he does.
Oh, yeah, he probably does because, filthy rich, whatever.
Yeah.
Or at least has a job where he can hobnob. I don't even get that.
No,
Fucking,
you talk to drunks and
mm-hmm.
well, those people.
Drunks, perverts, all kinds
Come
of
on,
fun
Jim.
shit.
Those
Yeah.
people are much more fun.
Yes, they are. After seeing the video of this presidential candidate and married man talking about kissing women, grabbing their vaginas, and using his celebrity to get them to do whatever he wants, I now fully recognize the guy I have known since I was a teenage boy. What, a jock?
Yeah, right. Someone who I used to hate back in high school.
Yeah. The Trump on that video is a sexist, misogynistic, womanizing cheater who degrades and sometimes sexually assaults women. Is it sexually assault if they consent? Because that's the gold digger way. They consent to this so they could get their hands in your wallet. Do you recognize this?
I just think he's a scumbag with other scumbags.
Oh, yeah, that's what Trump is. He's fucking pure pathetic scum, but this is just idiocy here. The game over wagon. After all the other shit Trump has said, it's, oh, wow, I could grab a pussy and get away with it. Because they love that shit. And it's like, yeah, you obviously don't know gold diggers very well. Further, I will say that all the different times I've hung out with strippers at various parties, the shit they said about their adventures, dear God, that puts what Trump said on that video to shame.
Well, yeah.
I know I talked to a stripper once that was saying how she was sitting on top of one of those old CRT monitors. This is back in like the late 90s. She was putting on one hell of a show for the guy, according to her. And apparently her show was so good that one of the viruses that hit the news was named after her.
Well, yeah, but as you know, not everyone talks to strippers because people want their kind of boring suburban lives, and they don't want, um, you
They
know.
don't. They want to hide themselves from what reality is, so that way they could say they're moral upstart people. Fuck them.
Yep.
The moral high ground is such a bullshit concept. I hope they all die.
And also one more thing, and also, like I said, but some people don't want to admit that gold diggers exist. I remember one of my sort of girlfriends was, and I was, of course, it didn't last because A, I'm broke, B, I'm cheap anyway. but no one believed me. So
Yeah, something along those lines. Hold on a second here. Anyways,
moving on a second. Okay.
yeah. I know this man and so many like him. I wish I didn't, yet I do. I have for a long time. What, people that boast about sexual exploits?
I boast about my sexual exploits, but even though I know they're pathetic.
Oh, fuck. Girls I've been with them fucking boasted enough about their fucking sexual exploits.
Yeah, that's because Jim that they're just in shock by how bad you are, so they have to go the other way and just start bragging.
Exactly. Just put me down by saying how much better all these other guys were.
Yes,
That one time they were gangbanged and it was good. And I'm sitting there thinking, gee, why wasn't I invited to this gangbang? That would have been fun.
because Jim, no one likes you. Continue.
Truth is, many men objectify women and say outrageously offensive things about their breasts, butts, and other body parts in spaces we occupy with each other. And you never heard women talk about men's asses, cocks, fucking pecs, any fucking body feature. Oh, he looks like such a teddy bear. I'd like to fucking suck that and look his ass. You don't
I've
hear
been
women talk, do you?
see, I really haven't. I mostly called an ass.
Mm.
Haha. Nice little joke there.
Yes, and my phonetic pronunciation on my fucking Facebook says you pronounce my name asshole.
I should. I should. That is funny.
Yeah. In his response to the video's release, Trump explained his comments were locker room banter, which yes, they are. His is a boys will be boys defense of sexism and the objectification of women. Once again, completely divorcing the fact that, oh God. I remember when the fucking Peter Steele centerfold came out. Dear God, I would not stop hearing about it for years. And it still comes back up how many years after his death?
I still hear about it. And then I talk about how I don't like typo negative, and they stop talking to me. Seriously, I've lost relationships because I just typo negative just never did anything for me. Carnivore was okay, but typo just never did anything for me, and I've lost fucking.
Yeah, the one girl I'm talking to now, it'd be real fun to get you two to fucking get together because she was just recently, I think within the past month, talking about the fucking centerfold and went on a fucking huge typo binge.
Carnivore is better. I mean, typo had its moments. I always thought he was trying to be something that he wasn't. I always thought he was kind of trying to be this kind of romantic, but in reality, he's just kind of a meathead New Yorker.
Also,
Sorry,
for those who never knew about the fucking Peter Steele Playgirl centerfold,
everyone knows about it.
well, just for the remote few that don't, the anaconda was at least a foot long, and all the girls loved looking at it, and a few guys did too.
Yes, I remember. Well, I don't, but I know because they're still talking about it, and and maybe I just approached typo wrong because I approached it as kind of a doom band. Maybe I need to approach it as something else. I don't know.
I even knew lesbians who had that centerfold, but I
Cool.
think that was more because they were into the band than the, whatever.
Why
Anyways,
isn't there a centerfold of fucking dead from Mayhem with his brains blown out?
but he wasn't incorrect that some men do indeed talk that way. And a lot of women you just don't associate with enough of them to know. Dear God. You should hear some of the bands. There's this fucking show on that has like Lucifer or something in it where like he's supposed to be in the mortal world. And, trust me, you'd be disappointed. But my fucking mother and aunt keep talking about how much they fucking
I know what it
all the
is.
vile things they do to him. It's like, dear God, I don't want these images in my head. I'm related to you,
I
please.
know what it is, and I thought it was a lame ass show.
But you just apparently don't hang out with enough chicks that they talk that
No,
way
they
too.
no, they hang out. It's different. Women can say whatever they want, but men can't. It's double standard.
And such talk is not.
It's the reverse double standard from the 20s when men could talk about sexual exploits, but women couldn't. It's kind of a reverse now.
Yay, progress. Just go back to the way things were, only changing who's at the top. Lovely. That's fucking complete regression there.
Yep.
And such talk is not confined to gyms and country club showers, but occurs too often in other spaces where men are among other men. And in my case, where men are among other men and women are among
Yes.
other women and men. Because fucking, oh God, how many times have I hung out with people? Even with the fucking straight edgers at college, fuck.
Yes, but you hang out with people of the alternative, lifestyle. No, but you hang out with people who aren't straight laced or whatever.
I mean, even the straight edgers, okay. I told them, yeah, I fucking do drugs. I'm just not going to bring it around you because I know you're not into it. Why bother wasting my money to bring intoxicants around you whenever I'd be the only one doing them?
Yeah, but so it's like I said, you hang around people, but in the mainstream world, it's
The lamestream world, everyone has to be holier than thou. And this just reads more and more like one of those fucking, oh God, conservative priests that fucking like to sit there and stand on the street corner and say, that's a sin, you're all burning in hell. It's like fucking Westboro Baptist Church, except we're changing the concept of sin to misogyny and the fucking God to women.
Yep, and welcome to the modern world. My name is Elliot. I'll show you around. And here's the cyanide capsule.
Yes, that's the first step in embracing it. In fraternity houses, on golf courses, in barber shops, at bars. I have
Because there's
seen
no
men.
women at bars or barber shops or.
Dear God, that's where I'm. Fuck, bars. Bars. You think. And frat houses, I've been to enough. God, my very first frat party, I'm fucking drunk off my ass. Girl walks up to me and says, "Are you dating someone?" No, wait. She says, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And I'm drunk. And I know somewhere back in my mind, I knew I was dating, but I was so drunk that the only thing that came out was like, I don't know. Because my brain didn't want to process because I've never been that drunk before in my life. And she's like, well, you do now. And she fucking took me out to the trade tracks and we fucked there. And that started a whole entire other shit storm. But, that was my own idiocy at play. Fucking shit.
Yes, it was. And that sounds funny.
Yeah. I have seen men. I've even seen men stand aside and engage in this kind of talk about mums and kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it at schools. In fact,
I've,
one of my friends was joking. He has kids, and he says, if you ever want to avoid the school run, right? You go, that you say kind of offhand to your wife, that mother at the she looks hot, and then you'll never have to do the school run ever again.
oh God, I'm just sitting here thinking of all the times I've seen the inverse at play, where chicks would be talking about some guy at some kid's birthday party, but just fucking turn a blind eye.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the kinds of words we hear from Trump are commonly spoken when men are with other men. How about when women? Fuck you. Those who participate in this banter are rewarded. How?
I never did that kind of talk. I was never that kind of I was always more into talking about metal. I remember. Do you remember the sex episode where I just kind of zoned out and I went, "What
I don't
about
care.
black metal?" Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
God. Well, someone suggested we do a sex episode, so
I
we
know,
did.
I know we did, and it had its moments. But I mean, the funny thing is, if I'm not actively with someone, I don't mean like long, even like if I'm not like actively with someone, my sex drive is near zero. If I'm with someone, it goes up because I think I don't know, it's weird. But if I'm alone or whatever, or if I'm not with someone at this moment, then I'll just listen to metal.
And also, fucking, I participated in this banter with women, and I picked up a great number of new sexual techniques.
Yes, we know. I've heard.
Yeah. Those who choose not to engage, and especially guys who critique such statements, have their masculinities questioned and risk being placed on the outskirts of the social acceptance.
I never wanted to be socially accepted anyway, but I never had my masculinity questioned because it was just like, oh, Elliot's not really into that kind of conversation. Whatever. It was never there was never any like, oh my god. It was just, oh yeah, he's whatever. He does his thing.
Yeah, really. Fuck.
Speaking of people who do their thing.
Oh,
Hey,
hi.
Hey, how's it
Hi,
going?
Charles.
Anyways, we have a comment saying she is female and can confirm. Don't tell ladies that other ladies are hot, unless she's also hitting on the ladies.
Yeah, that was my point. That's how you get out of the fucking school run. Is that one woman, the one mother. She's quite good looking, and you'll never have to do the school run again. So Chaz, that's a lesson for you.
Yay. I have spent much of my career studying men and their masculinities. No, you have not.
You should study me.
Oh, God.
He's an enigma.
I basically cherry picked what I call facets of male culture and only looked at the ones that involved violence. And then I drew the inference that men are violent. That's a perfectly logical statement. The conclusion follows the premise, and you can't question my interpretation.
By the way, Charles, when you weren't here yesterday or Friday, all we did was impressions of you.
Yeah.
I bet that was a fun show.
Yes, it was. My
I want to
research.
hear Jim do an impression of my voice now. Go ahead, Jim. Do your best me.
Okay, Jim, you want to do your best me. God, I can't even fucking escape the damn southern part whenever I do fucking.
How y'all doing?
God, it sounds much more fucking southern than Brit.
God,
God.
that's roll almighty.
I'm not from Texas.
I know. I couldn't do the British accent well. Oh, God.
How y'all doing? I'm Chaz Wold Almighty from Kent, Texas.
I fucked my mother and gave birth to my sister. Yeehaw. Anyway.
And then I married her.
Married my sister for another daughter cousin.
I'm Chaz Wold.
Anyways, my research has put me in conversation with thousands of young men, mostly at high school and college students. Many have told me they learned to be Trumps in middle school, sometimes earlier. They're posting about sexual exploits. I still say, have you ever listened to the chicks?
No, they have not. No. Whoever this is, they're obviously...
Well, here's the thing. You don't have to reflect on your own behavior. You're judging other people. You're not talking about yourself right now.
You're not talking about yourself right now.
I am standing on the street corner here, and you're all going to hell for doing this, that, the other thing, because, praise Jesus.
Says Chaz Wold.
Just replace sin with misogyny and fucking Jesus with and God with women, feminists, and all that shit. I don't even care anymore.
Cultural feminism is a religion.
I find it hilarious that Jim isn't even a southerner and still does the accent all the time. Yes, I do too.
Oh God. Media, parents, and family members and peers should shape how boys are taught to think and talk about women from a young age.
I was never. I just avoided everyone. So, and then when I was 15, I realized, oh, I'm not totally asexual. And then I was just, well, whatever,
Yeah, chicks turn me on. I like titties.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
being
very
fucking insulted
heteronormative
for
of you shitlord.
What,
I'm
Charles?
being in,
I said that was very heteronormative of him, and I called him a shitlord.
Oh, go kill yourself.
yes, Southern
We don't,
accents.
we only like Chaz because he got rid of Bitch Boy.
Yes, he served a purpose. It is good.
He did it twice, which.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
While I'm
And lo, I said to them, go on to the people and speak of my good deeds.
Yes.
No.
While I'm quite older than they are, I understand and relate to how much my research participants tell me. The horrifying things Trump said in that video, which are completely nothing compared to the many things hookers and prostitutes have said about their fucking sexual exploits, as well as those within the realms of gold diggers, anyone that saw that Peter Steele centerfold. I've heard from male friends of mine since I was a teenager.
Here's the thing, right? All these women are supposed to be offended, yet 80 million of them went out and bought 50 Shades of Grey, which was written by a woman.
Well, here,
And
Chaz.
played things far more fucking filthy than what goes on in.
We have a woman watching the show.
And then he took the fucking. And then
Quick,
he
grab
took
her by the pussy.
He took the tampon out with his mouth and started fucking me on my period, and it was Christian Grey, so awesome.
Oh,
God damn.
And she said she's from Kentucky and Southern accents are fun. But so we have a woman watching the show. Are you offended by any of this talk?
Well, I've already said grab her by the pussy, so.
Yeah. As a young boy, I witnessed older men appraise women's bodies and heard them say what they would do sexually. And never once heard a woman say how much she would suck that guy's cock or how much she wanted him to ram her up the ass, because I didn't pay attention to a single damn word the women were saying.
Yeah, really. I've heard that a lot from my girlfriends and friends, obviously.
Oh, God, the shit my friends have said over the years. The female friends, dear fuck. There was one point where I was blushing, and I'm pretty much immune to this kind of shit. I listened to fucking Gore. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh, dear God.
Well, yeah, and by the way, she said she's not offended. Well, yeah, I knew one girl who was a diehard fan of the band The Mentors. Jim, do you know The Mentors?
God.
Women are insane. Some were born with no brain. I mean, it was such sleazy, but it was awesome. I mean, the guy was just having a. But yeah, I knew women who were a diehard fan of El Duce and The Mentors.
Despite the familiarity, the words I heard Trump speak in that video horrified me, because they are the work of a fornicator. So vile. And most disturbing was this. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. Just like those fucking fornicators that are so violent. Each and every brothel I protest against. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Condemn Satan to hell.
No, Satan will not stay in hell. I'm automatically attracted to misanthropy on women. That's my weakness.
Kissing or groping someone without consent. Who says it wasn't consensual?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're not pressing charges immediately after, that I think that there was some implied consent there. Fuck. It's sexual assault. It's popular for men to brag about similar behaviors. I'm not just walking up and grabbing a guy by the cock, starting to stroke it, say, hey,
I
baby, come back
remember.
to my place.
Well, I used to do that with women who I knew were friends. And I used to come up and say like horrible, perverted, well, not, but like the weirdest things, and they'd slap me, and I'd laugh because I knew they were friends, and so I was like, let's go and annoy them. So I used to ask, and they'd slap me, and and then I got turned on.
And fucking shit, I've had been groped at parties myself. Fuck.
I've been.
It's not that fucking. It works all different ways. It all depends on what the woman's attracted to. And apparently, me ranting about carjacking people and driving tanks in oncoming traffic about 10 years before Grand Theft Auto came out, by the way, to make
I've
that
never,
kind of conversation the norm.
I've never
That
been
turned her on.
groped. I've never been groped at parties. I've been beaten though.
But that turns you on.
Yes,
Usually.
it does. Yes. Yes. Okay. You're right.
Young men I have interviewed say their male buddies often affirm and applaud such statements.
My friends never. See, my friends never really talked about it. When they did, I would just stand there, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Nah, it's not my thing." And they were like, "Whatever." But my male
Like
friends never really.
Whenever we would talk about it, it's more like, oh, yeah, did you try this? No. Did you try that? No. And like we're discussing different techniques. A woman comes in and says, well, if you really want to please a woman, you do this and that. Oh, really?
Why are we going this in depth into something that was said in obvious hyperbole? Like, I've listened to the clip. You can hear it in his fucking voice. This is hyperbole. This is what people do. They exaggerate.
We're only going.
We're exaggerating an exaggeration.
Hang on a second. You shared this link with us, so
I know.
you moral
just
high
thought it
ground
was-
son of a bitch.
I thought it was funny. That's why I shared it. I thought it was funny. I didn't think
Well,
we'd have to talk about it.
Yeah, I've done that too.
It was more. The thing that was more interesting was just how batshit crazy fucking, like the way the fucking news media and stuff have gone into the fucking fainting couch position, clutching their pearls very fucking quickly over nothing.
Jazz, you should know one thing about Jim. I've posted things on here for laughs that I didn't, and we actually wound up reading them. And I was like, I didn't actually want you to read it. It's just.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at least we've mentioned it's obvious hyperbole. That's the conversations people should be having. When somebody goes, did you hear what Trump said? You mean what? The obvious hyperbole? And then just stare them dead in the face. And if they try to talk, just make random sounds.
What are you eating?
Fucking burger. I've been hanging out with you fucking Americans too much.
Oh, so more from the chat here. We got that she didn't read the fucking piece of shit that is fucking 50 Shades of Lane. But she does write her own fanfic porn, which I've read some of it, and one involved a bullet in the head.
I've written my own. I've written my own, but it was mainly for joke. I tried reading 50 Shades of Grey, and after about 2 chapters, I christened it 7 Shades of Shit, and I threw it away.
Rarely does one man hold another accountable or raise his consciousness about the vile acts he's describing, because they are vile and unholy and fucking.
So I grabbed my axe today, and I met someone, and I lured them over to my house, and I gutted them. I think that's a lot more vile. I mean, really. I mean, I could think of far more vile acts than kissing someone.
And groping them and all that shit, especially whatever is consensual. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. But
you don't have to say yes in order to consent. And that's one thing these guys don't fucking get, because there's a whole entire body language involved they're not comprehending.
Yeah, so body language
push you away, that usually means no. If they're like, okay, and start rubbing you back or directing your hands, that's a yes.
Yeah, see, I can take that the physical language, but they're like, I remember one guy's like, why didn't you ask her out? She was giving you the body language signs. I'm like, because I can't see body language, you moron. And anyone who can't understand that doesn't deserve me.
Exactly. Details of sexual conquests. Even unsuccessful attempts like Trump taking a married woman furniture shopping in hopes of having sex with her are typically celebrated. Actually, whenever the failed attempts happen, we point and laugh because that was pathetic. God, I was at a fucking New Year's party where I was fucking flirting with a married chick that, and I didn't even know it. And I woke up to her husband standing over me, handing me the pizza. It's like, I'll give you this for my wife. It's like, okay.
Wait, what?
Well, I wasn't fucking her. I was just sitting there bullshitting with her, flirting up a storm. And then, he got off work for the New Year's party and was like, here, I'll give you this for my wife. Okay.
By the way, she says next up, frat parties will need ball pits. I think we're already there.
Mm-hmm. And because bragging of this kind is common, men in my research confess that they don't always recognize that they and their peers talk about women in deplorable, sinful, unholy, unsanctified, 100% Antichrist-approved, Jesus-disapproved ways. Hallelujah.
Good. You should always talk about things in Jesus-disapproved ways.
Can I just interject that you can't use the term ball pit anymore? Balls is obviously too much of a reference to male genitalia, and pit, obviously, that doesn't conjure up in anything good. So it really makes the safe space sound unfriendly. I think we should call it something like the spherical encapsulation.
Spherical. Yeah, exactly.
So we're pretty much metaphorically saying, the ball's got to slap the pussy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why balls are sinful. Gotcha. Hiding it behind the guise of banter or jokes only makes the problem worse by making it seemingly acceptable. It is unacceptable, unholy, and it's a sure path to the ways of hellfire. Hallelujah.
Do you know what? I want to go fucking Jesus Christ at them, for a second. And I want to just say, anybody who's making an issue out of this Trump thing really has to look at themselves. And I'm going for he who is without sin cast the first stone. Yeah. If I look through your internet history, if I look through private conversations that you've had, if I went through your private history, would I find anything that I could use against you in much the same pious self-righteity? And if I fucking could do, you best kind of shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down.
You know what the sad thing is? I'm probably the one who you probably couldn't, because I don't really talk about shit like that, and yet I'm not condemning him for it. So the one person who actually could do it and but doesn't is the one who, because as Jim knows, I don't really talk about sex much. I do mostly talk about mutilation and metal, which apparently some people want to kill me for.
Understand, you're a little gay boy. Moving on.
And I talk about sex mostly as self-deprecating humor.
Yes, and apparently someone who might be watching the show wants to kill me for liking metal. So.
Yes. When men fail to challenge other men on troubling things they say about and do to women, such as reproduction, that's the only way you should fucking fuck a woman, is reproductively, and not for fucking any sort of pleasure, which feminists have fought for how many years, and now we're fucking saying you can only reproduce now.
Yes. And yeah.
We contribute to cultures that excuse sexual harassment, assault, and other forms of gender violence. Can I hear a hallelujah for taking the fun out of sex and giving women what they want?
Which women don't want this, by the way.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
At least no one I know does.
Fucking shit chick dumped me because I wasn't choking her. And
Oh.
all she had to do was fucking ask properly. And I would have done it, because it's not something I normally do during sex, but it's nothing I'm totally against either. But she dumped me because I wasn't choking her and treating her like a cheap whore, fucking her in the ass without lube.
Yeah, but Chaz, you're married, so you suck. Sorry, I'm making reference to the chat. So you can't actually barter with Chinese food. Anyway.
Oh, I don't want sex.
Well, I've just continue before I murder Chaz.
I'd much more prefer to feed people to plants, but first of all, you've got to feed them, make them fat.
I'd rather
Then
feed
it's
them.
worthwhile feeding them to the plants.
Why would you want to feed plants? What have plants ever done for us?
Mate, I'm going to genetically modify the perfect plant, like a species that's way more should be around here than humans, and then I'm going to make sure it knows that I'm its fucking master.
But then it'll just eat you because you're a human.
Well, no, it won't eat me because it knows if it does that, it dies.
If it eats you, you'll kill it.
Well, I'll have an insurance policy.
Okay, with that, Jim.
Sushi bar. Anyway, I know from my research that confronting male peers is difficult for a 14-year-old high school student athlete who desperately wants his teammates to like and accept him. This is why I enjoyed being rejected at times. Yeah, the bullying part sucked, but, you win some, you lose some. Looking back, I think I turned out far better because I'm not fucking sitting here crying in a corner. Like this guy is.
Yes, I was bullied as well. Everything from, knocking me into walls and, all the, my head met many garbage cans. But I think I turned out better. I just kind of, I used to be, oh my God, but I realized I wasn't getting any help. So I just kind of shut down and just, go ahead and beat me, whatever. So I finally, they stopped because I wasn't giving any response. Because I just kind of go limp and just kind of go, uh-huh.
Oh, they actually started to fear me because, I started showing up with Flaming Skull t-shirts immediately after I got in the medal. They're like, oh my God, we pushed him too far. He's going to shoot up the skull. Keep in mind, this is before school shootings became a trend.
Yeah. Which is funny because personally I find you about as scary as the fish that live in the aquarium that I fucking hate. Because it has a fucking filter that just... Anyway, yeah, I don't find you scary at all.
Good.
Yes, you're fucking benign.
He needs his coach to step up and disrupt the locker room banter. Perhaps Trump, who was 59 when the video was recorded, and Billy Bush, whose comments were so awful, never had a coach or anyone else confront them for their sexism or their sinful nature in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Fucking banish
Yeah,
the
I get
demon.
called a sexist every day because I say bad things about Danica Patrick, like that she's a shit driver, because she must be applauded for being courageous, even though...
You're not allowed to criticize anyone with a vagina. Have you not learned this?
No. She finished 11th on Sunday, and people are like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, because there was a 12-car pileup, and because of the cautions, and certain front runners got eliminated. And she was beaten to the line for 10th. Sorry, when you have someone winning championships in sports car racing who's a woman, I'm sorry. It just doesn't look that important or special to me. But, fuck it.
Mind you, though, Danica Patrick, if she came and saw me, she would definitely be finishing second, if you know what I mean.
She's not my type. Let's put it that way. I've heard her described. Not my type.
And Chaz has committed the ultimate sin with that joke there. He's burning in the hellfires of hell. Oh my God. Someone exorcise that demon. Because college men need opportunities in their classrooms and elsewhere on campus to see women differently, develop more regressive perspectives about women's roles and within our society, and coddle them in ways we have never seen before, and undo ways that they have been socialized to view and talk about women. Oh
I'm
my
sorry,
God.
I'm just going to say this, right? I would happily crawl fucking naked over broken glass just to suck the cock of the last man who did her up the bum.
Huh.
There you go. Really, let's proper go out there.
That's great kink. I'm impressed by that.
Even
And she's
I'm
got
impressed.
quite a nice
backwards,
ass.
broken glass just to suck a cock, and you're not even into dudes. That's great.
Oh, mate, I ain't into dudes, but if it would piss Westboro Baptist Church off, I'd quite happily suck a cock.
Oh, good.
I'm that kind of person. I will literally find the way I can fuck with you. And I want you to know that it didn't affect me, but I definitely fucked with you. I'm kind of like the Doctor of pissing people off. I'm the Doctor Who, but instead of going around fucking saving humanity, I go around and gently piss it the fuck off.
He's a
That's
wannabe.
my job.
He's a wannabe.
He's trying, but at least he's trying in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, true, but I still.
I wouldn't call him a complete try-hard, but he is trying.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna laugh at him.
Oh yeah, we all are. Young men, not just those who spend time in a locker room, need their dads, uncles, male teachers, ministers, rabbis, and other adult men in their lives to fuck them up the ass, so that way it will teach them how to appreciate and talk about women. Can I hear an amen? Praise Jesus.
Praise Satan.
But too many adult men fall short of this ourselves, especially when we are in men's only spaces with guys whom we need to affirm our masculinities.
I never really liked man-only spaces or any sort of only spaces just because I like variety. But even if I was in a man-only space, which I have been, I don't. I'm the guy that doesn't talk to anyone unless they talk to me. I'm not a guy who can come up to people and talk because I can't fucking
I'm the type of mongoloid who what? Do you know how stupid these people are? These people are just as stupid as the people who watched the Life of Brian and went, "Oh, this might trigger some Catholics."
All I gotta say is the last time I've sat down at a gaming table with all men in a group that was more that had at least two other people. It wasn't just me and someone else. There was at least 3 total people at the table. Last time I sat at the table and there wasn't a woman present, I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a male-only space.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
You're not really the country club kind of social club, gym kind of guy though. Well, gymnasium kind of guy. So
yeah,
you don't really do that, and I don't really do that. Actually, the last time I was only at a mostly male space, it was a gay bar. Just saying. It was kind of it was whatever. But yeah, the last time it was.
I am fairly certain that hearing the vulgar words Trump spoke over a decade ago will compel many more women to vote against him next month. Or maybe they'll vote for him, hoping for that taste of that sweet, sweet cash as he slips his cock inside them and pays them millions in alimony and hallelujah, praise Jesus.
I'm voting for Fenriz anyway. I'm voting for Jim next year, next 2020, whether he runs or not.
Electing the first female president, which I know Hillary's gender is in question, and we could go for Jill Stein, who's definitely a woman and not a Draco Lich. Will not end sexism, no any more than electing Barack Obama ended racism instead of completely amplifying it, because now everyone's fucking taking sides whenever there should be no sides. However, taking sides is exactly what we must do to purge the evil against Satan.
Well, regardless of whether it's Trump or Clinton, the drone strikes and wars will go up exponentially.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for fucking England to
Well, have
do
you not
that.
seen all of this stuff kicking around the internet? Apparently, World War III is just round the corner. The
Yes, I
Pentagon have
saw it.
admitted it.
Yes, Carlo Regattas shared the link. If you don't know who that is, you don't know your metal. And he said he was feeling scared. And I told him, look, or was it Carlo? Was it Dave, his friend? Anyway, I just said, look, either it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. Either way, the world turns.
Mm-hmm.
Either we're all going to die or we're not going to die. And by the way, the hurricane that was going to hit Florida, but only killed about 15. So, you know.
Many more people were killed in what, Haiti?
Yeah, but I was disappointed.
To make progress, men need to do more than vote against Trump. Oh, God. You have no idea how many women I heard turn to vote towards Trump after this shitstorm. So, like, this is bullshit. We must stand up to him and call out others who say things similar to what we heard him say on that video, because it is blasphemy in the name of Jesus Christ.
Where's the slope start? Like I said, now I get called sexist if I say something bad about a female racing driver who's shit, or a band, like Butcher Babies. Oh God, I got called a sexist because I didn't like the band Butcher Babies, because apparently I don't like them because they're women, not because they play, generic nu metal with a little bit of thrash, but not even that much.
Yeah, let's just listen to fucking Dirk Head Up, please.
Let's listen to Dorier or fucking anyway.
Yeah.
We've already given you a lot of bands to listen to.
Yeah, Funerus, fucking shit.
Coven.
Mm-hmm. We have to stop the existing degradation of girls and women as locker room banter. While they're all more permitted to fucking talk about men and the size of their cocks and how fucking fat and useless they are in their locker rooms. Hallelujah.
New comment. I remember when Obama was elected, people were saying that racism was over. I never will. I only heard that from people who were really out there. What I remember when Obama was elected was he did this whole hope and change thing, and I remember people going, yeah, I'm going to vote for Obama because I want hope and change. And I said, okay, you've got the president, now give him hope and change, make him do it. And then they just sat on their ass and went on Facebook, and now things are at least as bad as when he took office, if not worse.
They're definitely worse because fucking shit. Yeah, fucking shit. Just from, let's see, just his policies, the fucking Obamacare Act. God, that was such a fucking blow because it was supposed to help people like me get health insurance, but I can't afford it. Because I got to pay 1/3 of my total salary to get insurance, where I would have to pay another third of my annual salary. This is annual salary before the insurance would even kick in through deductibles now. Thanks, guys. Oh, yeah, and if it weren't for the fact that I was fucking dead broke, I wouldn't be able to fucking file for the damn amnesty against it. Gotta love these people.
Yep. And then there's fucking drone strikes and Russia.
And I live in that fucking weird income bracket where I make too much to qualify for Medicaid, yet not enough to actually afford insurance on my own, even with their fucking subsidies. Fuck them.
Yep. Single payer. I mean, we were actually reading the propositions, and they were talking about healthcare reform, and I said, basically, if it doesn't say single payer, if it doesn't say, I'm not voting for it. I don't care if it's almost. I don't care if it's 80%. It's gone on too long. It's either single payer.
Well, okay, they say it was better the way it was before, because back then I could have afforded it on the past few jobs I had.
Yeah.
After it took a hold, I could not afford it. The fucking prices just skyrocketed too much, and like I said, I made too much to qualify for Medicaid, but not enough to actually afford the damn plans because they fucking skyrocketed. People don't fucking, So your hope and change there fucking failed. And let's look at race relations. Fuck.
Well, do you know the great thing about having private medical is when you also are able to have businesses that will provide the health insurance for you, because then what these businesses can do is, if basically you have to stay in that job, otherwise you can't afford to use the healthcare system at all, ever. None of your family can. So
I'd like
you're
to just
stuck
say,
working at a company as a slave.
I'd like to just say quickly, people who think that Clinton would be the great choice. Let's look at Bill's first 8 years of presidency. Let's look at what I think is the real reason he should have been impeached: the Telecommunications Act, where basically, back in the day, people like Clear Channel, CBS, and Fox could own one radio and television station per city, right? Now they can own as many as they want to, meaning the death of public broadcasting. And oh yeah, they kept some public broadcasting spaces open, but of course they gave them to religious channels. Or religious channels bid for them and won, because obviously they're going to have the most money. So that's why I think he should be impeached. Now, okay, is it kind of a moot point? Yes and no, because Jim doesn't have a car with, well, if he had a car, he probably wouldn't get a car with anything like satellite or any kind of radio. So if you wanted to listen to music, he'd either have to bring CDs in, or he'd listen to fucking Green Day and Nirvana on the radio, rather than the cool college-run station or the cool private, the public broadcasting station that, at 9 o'clock would have some metal on or something like that. So that's one of the real reasons why I think he should have been impeached. Nothing about a blowjob.
Well, this is the whole good thing about having something which is public access media. This is why, to some degrees, the BBC, if it wasn't being so mishandled on purpose, would be so good. It would. Here's the thing: something like Doctor Who doesn't get made on a commercial channel. They just really wouldn't be interested in the idea. But somebody who doesn't have to really worry about the bills because they're all paid, they've just got to operate any way they see fit, can have something like that. If Monty Python, right, something tried and tested, was to try and launch itself today, it wouldn't get on air with private networks.
The Yes Minister, the thick of it. I can't see anyone like ITV. I mean, okay, they did Newsoids, but I can't see. Well, Newsoids looks pretty cheap, but I can't see them doing something like Top Gear on ITV. Fifth Gear's different because it's more of a magazine show.
You have to understand that the main guy who does voices in that show is a very famous impersonator.
Yeah.
And he's been going for fucking years, because he used to do Bremner Bird and Fortune as well. And he also did Dead Ringers, which was on BBC Two, and that was originally on the radio. That was originally on Radio 4. A lot of the British comedy actually starts on the radio. And then it Mock the Week started on the radio.
I don't know if you well, okay, yeah, you've heard of the show the Mighty Boosh, obviously.
Yep.
I liked the show. Well, some of it was just a little too visual, but they loved their radio series because I didn't feel like I was missing anything finally. And the Alan Partridge started on the radio, but I love the radio series because you don't feel like you're missing anything if you're blind, because everyone's blind on the radio if you think about it. So
yeah,
they should bring back radio drama. Anyway, continue, Jim.
Feminists and courageous others have done much to contest exchanges like the one between Trump and Bush. But it takes men like me to hold our friends accountable for things they say and do to objectify women. We must challenge their values, language, and actions and censor their speech because, hallelujah, that is sinful and it's going to lead people away from the light of Jesus.
I get held accountable for everything I do. But I don't care. I mean, I've lost friends because they say, "Look, I didn't really like your comment." And I'm like, "Oh, you didn't like my comment? Okay, whatever." Well, and they're like, "Well, are you gonna change it?" I'm like, "Nope." So I've lost many friends like that. The Black Metal Rebellion unfriended me because I left a negative comment on his post. So no, seriously, he unfriended me because I left a negative comment telling him to grow up on his post.
Oh, fuck. How many negative comments have you left on my posts? Fuck.
Everything. Your last post, the tank god, or about tanks, I posted a Nazi black metal band called Tank Genocide just because I thought of the word tank, and
That's what you thought of, and of course that's going to piss a lot of people off.
yeah,
But then there's
exactly.
even times where you fucking agree with what I say, and you're like, Jim, you're a fucking retard. Oh, okay. Whatever.
Well, no, that happened. No,
Yeah.
that happens more with Scott. Scott, I agree with what you say, but you're still an idiot.
Mhm.
Yeah, fuck Scott.
We'll talk off microphone about it, but Scott and Chaz had a bit of a hissy fit. That was fucking funny on Friday. But anyway, so yes, I agree with some things Jim says. I agree with a lot of what Jim says. Maybe we come to different conclusions, but at least we see things kind of the same way.
Well, I don't even think it's seeing it the same way. It's the fact that we're examining the same evidence to derive whatever conclusions we do.
And because of that, even though I don't agree with everything he says, I can see where he arrives at it.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the human experience. They're at least supposed to be seeing where your fellow human comes at, or they derive conclusions that are contrary to yours, and then deciding whether it's actually important enough to debate or not.
Now, make no mistake, he's a moron.
So is Elliot.
Oh,
Anyways, I've known Trumps for far too long. They are my friends, my fraternity brothers. You have fraternity brothers. That explains a lot of your
well,
problems right there.
in some colleges, you're forced to have fraternity brothers because that's the only way you can actually go into dorms is if you join a fraternity. That was in some colleges. In others,
Or it's the easiest way that you can get, because if you join the fraternity, you essentially can get given a room almost.
yeah,
And
my friend did. My friend did, and he said it was like the most vapid people he ever met, and he just kind of avoided them.
So we got a PC principal type here. Anyway.
Yay, PC principal.
And so many other men with whom I routinely interact. I understand now more than ever before that letting them talk this very way about women makes me just as sexist as they are, because I must appease Jesus through my supplication and veneration of my sins to let him cleanse me free. Please, I renounce my sinful ways. Hallelujah.
Censorship. We must fight censorship with censorship.
Yeah, that's essentially what's going on here. We want to censor the same exact words the far right wants to censor, but for different reasons.
Love it.
I want other men to recognize this too, not only because they have mothers, wives, sisters, aunts, or daughters, but because sexism hurts all women and men in our society.
Yes, it does. Real sexism does hurt men and women in our society. I agree. Real sexism does do that.
I will say that this completely cheapens the word, okay? My one female friend that I'm dating and shit, she's actually had legitimate complaints of sexism. But whenever she first said them, I'm fucking sitting there going, I need more proof here
Yeah, me
because
too.
I've heard too much. Then she shows it to me. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a legitimate
Yeah.
claim. And this kind of shit just completely devalues the fucking word to the point where it has no meaning anymore.
It's the same with.
It's not actions and discrimination against women. It's just fucking retardation.
It's the same with the girl I'm dating from Sweden. She said that, and yeah, I agree with you. I was like, okay, I have to see a little bit more what you were talking about, and she showed it, and it was like, yeah, okay, you're actually right. You're not one of these people crying. She's like, oh, those people, they, they. She basically said what you said. They devalue, so that people with actual complaints and people with actual experiences are being laughed at as, people who whine too much.
You're turning the word misogyny to be as watered down and meaningless as the word blasphemy. I mean, just think anyone that says blasphemy to anything these days, how often is that even used in like even
I
fucking
use it.
religious banter? I use it a lot, but I'm not part of that fucking pulpit
I
crowd.
no, I used it when you said that you didn't like the band Shining, and I said that was blasphemy because it is. It's you're blaspheming against my religion, and for that you should die.
God.
And his brain just broke.
So, why don't we go here and see another article?
That was a great segue. Fuck, that was horrible.
Yeah, I know. About intersectionality. Where Obama orders national security workforce to address intersectionality.
Intersectionality. What the fuck is intersectionality?
That's where, like, you're supposed to have all these disadvantages converging in different ways to make essentially everyone's disadvantage. Even if you have $10 million and can fucking wipe your ass with jet skis, you fucking are disadvantaged somehow because of how intersectionality works.
Why would you want to wipe your ass with jet skis?
Well,
That's not
basically,
very nice for jet skis.
The idea of intersectionality is that in the same way that sexism causes problems, racism works by a similar mechanics. And somebody who is both, say, black and a woman would have a far worse time than somebody who is white and a male. But, there would be less of a difference between them and a white woman. But they would still be worse off because obviously they have to deal with race as well as racism as well as sexism. That's kind of the idea of intersectionality.
Yeah. And it would have had merit if it wasn't fucking whatever. It's become today because people have no idea how to actually do shit and just parrot everything.
Well, it then leads to the progressive stack, which is just a natural situation when you allow for this idea that, we have to stop and listen because the trans person is speaking about their trans issues and we have to listen and believe. It's that then anybody can talk and has, so many people have some sort of caveat. I'm from some minority group, I'm now criticism free. I can say what I like. And so you have to have some way of having like a top trumps, if you will.
As a homeless person, or former homeless person, as the case would be, I would like to speak about your privilege.
Doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. It has to be, unimportant facets of your character that we're definitely not trying to focus on, but we really need to just focus on those to not focus on them.
Yeah, I remember whenever fucking race was pushed aside in the fucking 90s, and the further it fucking got pushed to the side, the more opportunities black kids have, and now that's fucking in front and foremost. What the fuck's going on?
It's because people are stupid.
Yeah. Let's reenact Jim Crow because, yay. It's the liberal version of Jim Crow now.
The liberal version of Jim Crow. I never thought I'd see those words because up until last year I didn't realize that. I thought the left-wing loonies were the minority
pushed out
that we all laughed at.
Yeah, now they're being taken 100% serious. Anyways.
Yeah, and that just depresses me. Anyway, continue while I kill myself.
President Obama is ordering all national security agencies to expand use of unconscious bias training and address intersectionality in a late push for diversity and inclusion by the federal government.
You don't know you're biased, and you're not biased, but you're unconsciously biased, so you should die.
What the fuck? This is 1984.
It was a bright, cold day in April. Oh, never mind.
The president issued a memorandum on Wednesday entitled "Promising Diversity and Inclusion in the National Security Workforce."
Actually, I think it was called. The 2 Minutes Hate.
Yeah, the 2 minutes of hate. The memo requires all 17 agencies, including the Pentagon, State Department, and Department of Homeland Security to report back in 4 months on their progress in collecting information about diversity in their workforces, such as employees' sexual orientation and gender identification. You know,
I identify as a tank.
Because, whether someone had their fucking cock cut open and a hole drilled in their pelvis to fucking turn it inside so they can maintain some of that sexual sensation while a guy pounds them in their brand new virtual pussy.
And that's fine. Whatever.
I'm fine with that, but for some reason that's more important than, someone actually capable of analyzing data. God.
Yep.
And I have BS with many trans people since fucking 2 years ago.
Well, I once asked you, Jim, would you ever date a trans person?
And the answer is yes.
But only after the operation. Granted, it took me 4 hours of thinking to come to that conclusion, but I had to agree with you. It's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Anyway.
Obama listed diversity as our greatest asset in keeping America safe. I think it's our most marketable asset, but I wouldn't say it's going to keep America safe, that alone.
I don't think America's safe anywhere.
The whole thing is, are we talking about a diversity of ideas? No, we're talking about diversity of color, where people can have the same exact idea and then thus have us have absolutely no fresh ideas to look at problems differently.
Yeah, no fresh ideas. And then it just becomes around and around and around, and then all of a sudden we declare independence from the British again because no one actually understood history.
Yeah. We're having another fucking revolution. Sorry, Chaz.
Not a problem. Perhaps this time you'll make the sensible decision and start singing God Save Our Gracious Queen.
That makes sense, actually, these days.
Despite the fact that England is just as fucked up now with the EU thing, Chaz.
Come on, you wouldn't be so bothered about Trump and Hillary if they were running for Prime Minister.
Oh, come on. We still deal with Theresa May.
Yeah, I know. We've got Despicable May.
Yes, but still, at least Boris Johnson's funny. That's the thing. At least Boris Johnson is funny. We don't have a funny kind of clownish politician. Actually, I wanted to say really quick. I was watching Top Gear like season 2, and they had starred in a reasonably priced car, and it was a young Boris Johnson when he was a conservative MP. That was funny, and he actually pretty much admitted to his blithering idiot persona.
Oh yeah,
he was already like that in 2003. But I thought that was kind of funny. It was like, well,
you go and watch 90s episodes of Have I Got News for You, and Boris Johnson was on there a few times.
Yep. But
I think his middle name is Cathethel. I think his name is something like Boris Cathethel Johnson.
Jim, keep reading, and I'll get back to you in 2 seconds.
Agencies shall expand their provision of training on implicit or unconscious bias, inclusion, and flexible work policies, and make implicit or unconscious bias training mandatory for senior leadership and management positions, as well as those responsible for outreach, recruitment, hiring, career development, promotion, and security clearance adjunct.
Alexander Boris DePfeffel Johnson.
Yep.
Fuck.
That's, you know what? That's a name. That's a name. Alexander Boris DePfeffel Johnson.
Fuck. That just entire fucking run on. Dear God. Let's please people's thoughts. Political correctness has been blamed for intelligence failures in the past. The FBI interviewed Omar Martin, the terrorist who murdered 49 people at an Orlando nightclub, 2 times after he made pro-terrorist comments to co-workers.
Hang on, Jim. Hang on. Sorry. We have a comment from some guy named Stan in the chat. She ain't my fucking queen. She can suck my dick. Do you really want like a 90-year-old great-grandmother to suck your dick, Stan?
Yay.
I don't really. I'm not sure. He might be one of Chaz's friends. I don't know.
I don't think I know him.
Anyways, 2 times after he made pro-terrorist comments to co-workers, they dropped the investigation. Mateen told FBI he was the victim of religious discrimination from co-workers because he was a Muslim. And he's got one on a shooting rampage.
Oh, I'm sorry. She could suck a goat dick. I thought it was she could suck my dick. Yeah, goat dick. Well, that's. Do you only want a goat exposed to that?
Poor goat.
Yeah, that's. Sorry, I misunderstood because I have to read the chat and the screen reader and hear what Jim's saying at the same time. Can someone else monitor the chat, please?
And someone calling fucking Hillary Clinton a human, that's being very generous.
Chaz.
Yes.
Monitor the chat for me, please, because.
Sure. Give me 2 seconds.
It's because it's kind of hard for me to do the screen reader thing and hear what Jim's saying at the same time. Yes, calling Hillary Clinton a human is
very generous. Anyways, the administration is also requiring agencies to collect more information on employees, including voluntary disclosures on sexual orientation and gender identity. The memo orders the agencies to identify additional categories of information to collect on current workers so they can meet diversity goals. I wonder what these categories are going to be.
I don't know.
Let's just section people off further and further into smaller and smaller groups so they can attack each other and create a complete disastrous failure for all intelligence agencies.
Yes. And yes, I'm sorry, Stan. I fucked up your message. I'm sorry. Like I said, we're gonna have Chaz interrupt and read messages off the chat. Because he doesn't do anything, so we'll give the little Brit something to do.
Yeah.
He's our slave now.
In addition to top security agencies, the memo applies to United States Agency for International Development, the Department of Treasury's Office of International Affairs, and Office of Critical Infrastructure Protection, and the Justice Department's FBI and National Security Division.
Good, I guess, or bad, or something. Either way, it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Where all these arbitrary facets are now far more important than your ability to handle the cases, and thus letting more shit fall through the cracks. Because everyone's having the same idea instead of different ideas. The guidance will affect over 3 million people who make up the national security workforce. The agencies must report on their progress in 120 days.
Well, we're doing good, except for the one guy who thinks you should all be shot.
Fuck. I'm waiting for them to fucking pull the plug on this and execute us all.
Russia, why aren't you invading us?
Oh, God. Oh, wow. Let's go on to meet the skateboarding witches battling sexism, racism, and gentrification.
Now, seeing as we have a self-described satanic witch watching the show, not leaving any comments because, she's too cold to leave comments, but, and Jim knows who I'm talking about here. Let's see if they're real witches or just...
Yay. Skateboarding and social justice aren't usually two words that coexist. But
you've never met the punk scene, really? You've never seen the punk scene.
Yeah, really. But for one skating crew in the Bronx, New York, they are inseparable.
Perfect. Let's get rid of New York.
The Brujas, an all-female of color skate team, with a white chick at the lead, but okay.
Nice.
Use their love of skating to build a sisterhood of badass women who are as into landing kickflips as they are into fighting gentrification, sexism, capitalism, and racism.
Well, yes, and those are all things that should be fought in the right way. I don't really care for gentrification. Let's get rid of the low income housing and build yuppie lofts. Sexism and racism are obviously bad, and I've always wanted to see the overthrow of capitalism.
I actually enjoy me a lot of capitalism, but fuck these people anyway.
Yeah, but come on, wouldn't you want to see it destroyed anyway? I mean, I enjoy a lot of things I wouldn't mind seeing destroyed. I wouldn't mind seeing you burned to death, and I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Skateboarding, which has evolved from its rebellious anti-establishment roots to become the mainstream moneymaker it is today, has always reminded a mostly white male-dominated. Has always remained a white male sport. Yeah, the Brujas are challenging the sport's lack of diversity and basic assumptions of what a skateboarder should look like.
It's a front for an all-lesbian roller derby club. Yes, that's what it is. Or at least that's what it should be.
There's so little opportunity for young girls of color in terms of jobs and education that we don't feel like a part of this city. Skating is a way to reclaim our freedom. Ariana Gill, the collective's 21-year-old co-founder, stated,
I like everything's about color. Nothing's just about,
19-year-old collective member Sam told Dazed Digital, "When I was in high school, I always found my zen when I was skating. I had a lot of anxiety and went through a lot of stuff when I was younger, but I always felt that at the end of the day, if I just had my skateboard, it helped me appreciate more time by myself. All that is very peaceful to me."
And see, when I was in high school, I went through a kind of weird period where I'd felt nothing for nothing. So I was hoping I have an anxiety about something, just so I'm still human. And no, not in an emo way, but literally like But I'm not really sure about Zen. I've never really felt Zen for anything. My Zen.
The influx of new wealthy residents in Upper Manhattan has brought more cops to the area, which in turn has led more harassment for Sam and her crew by law enforcement.
Well, my skating friends used to be harassed, but then again, they used to jump police cars and shit. So I think they kind of got what they deserved there, and they would admit it.
Oh, my friends, they fucking skateboard. I fucking sucked at it, so I just walked. But they didn't do any of that with their skateboards, so they were never that good with it. They did lots of vandalism, which they got arrested for. Anyways, she describes what it's like for the Brujas. If I walk down the street and my hair is not done, I don't look the cleanest. I've got my skateboard and my friends are laughing too loud. Someone who just moved into the area will think you're being intrusive. Well, yes, that's part of wanting to reject society, in my opinion. But you go ahead.
I walk out, fat with some death metal t-shirt with a beard that looks like I should probably be arrested as some sort of like monster, and so whatever.
And will more likely call the cops. Little do they know we're not intrusive. It's just been our neighborhood. Doing stuff like that to quiet down the culture that's already alive is killing the culture. That's why we have to preserve it.
Maybe the culture should die. Maybe it should go into really deep underground, so only the outriders, the really interesting people should be into it. That's kind of what I felt about metal for several years. Maybe it should be killed.
Yes.
Or at least wounded horribly, and go into the underground. Maybe I'm tired.
Some things only ever really truly work as niches.
Yes, like this show. If we ever got huge, I don't think we could ever get huge. No, we wouldn't.
Well, to get huge, we'd have to probably sell out quite a bit.
Oh, come on. Jeremy Clarkson got huge on Top Gear, so,
Gill told the New York Times why it makes sense to battle gentrification with skating. Skateboarding is a political act. It allows us to question private property and reclaim the spaces in our city that have been rezoned and redeveloped into oblivion. I miss the old factory. That was a great place to fucking get hammered. Fuckers burn it to the ground at least 3 times, and I want to fucking kill the bastard who did it.
Man.
Those were good times.
Was this the old factory where you used to graffiti all the time?
Yeah, my friends would always paint swastikas. I'd paint the anarchy signs. And, like, the news only mentioned the swastikas whenever it burned.
Anarchy signs.
Hmm.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, but I was fucking anarchist in the day.
Yeah, it's okay. So was I.
Anyways, Gil takes solace in the power of community building and skating. She told Dazed, physical and geographical space in New York is always going to change, but we'll just move and keep skating, taking our memories and continuing our community no matter what. In terms of my memory of New York, I'm thankful for skating because it at least preserves that continuity in community. That's the only thing that really counts anyway.
The best time to skateboard is when you're so drunk you can't feel anything and you're blind, so you might kill yourself. Then you get on a skateboard and skate down a hill, and then wake up, and you wonder why your head's bleeding.
Yay.
That was a fun night.
Let's go on to Keith Lamont. Scott shooting shows black cops can be biased too.
Okay.
At first, the images of Charlotte protesters flashed across the TV screen. I sat straight up and balled my fists into my chest, and I began to rock and cry. For the scene unfolding Wednesday night, for the centuries-long injustices that have divided cities and towns like it across the country, and for the death of another reportedly unarmed black man.
I think I was listening to death metal at the time.
I tried with no avail to soothe myself with the words of Dr. King. A riot is the language of the unheard.
That's
Oh,
not actually
fuck
what.
off.
Yeah, Chaz, come on. That's not what he actually said. Well, it is, but he also condemned violence as well.
Yeah, in the
He
same
was a well-known
breath.
fucking pacifist.
Well, he got a little more militant. It's funny if you actually look at Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Towards their deaths, they kind of started becoming each other. Martin Luther King did get more militant before he died, and Malcolm X got more peaceful. Granted, King was never violent, but still, he got a little more militant before he died.
A little more organized.
So let me get this straight. In order to fix the problem of blacks being seen as violent in society and cast as thugs and, people that the police need to keep a tight lid on, what a bunch of black people are going to go and do is commit a bunch of crime.
Yeah.
Yep. That's about the size of it. Fuck everything.
What's the next plan? We're going to solve the problem of nuclear warfare by blowing ourselves up before the Russians can.
Ooh, that sounds like a plan. Let's do it. That the police officer who shot Keith Lamont Scott to death as he sat waiting for his child's school bus to arrive was black changed nothing for me. Black guy shoots black guy. Yay. It almost certainly did not for the throngs of black, brown, and white people who filled the streets of Queen City for 3 consecutive nights.
Yes, and acted like morons. I'm sorry, people. Violent protests and death aren't going to change a goddamn thing. It's like I said. Like, okay, the punks cheering on the Chicago or the Texas shooter who shot the cops. It's not going to change anything. It's actually going to make things a great deal worse.
Because you're going to have people that sit there and recognize humans are human, condemning the act, along with the fucking whack jobs that think, the government
punks,
is always A-okay.
That's my problem with it's the, well, any cop is bad. So if you if you shoot a cop, that cop was. Yes, the system is corrupt, but not all cops are bad. Not all cops are racist. Just because one was, or two, or three, or four, fuck. I don't know. That's why I left the scene. It's just
A few years ago, I was on this one message board for the Hitman game series fandom. And someone brought up a fucking school shooting, saying, like, why the hell don't they go in? Like, he was being sarcastic, saying, why don't they go in there and actually shoot for a challenge? And at the time he was talking about that, an event was happening right in my backyard where a guy was purposefully shooting cops so that he could shoot someone armed.
I was just thinking off topic, but I was thinking of the a couple days after the Virginia Tech shooter, Guar had the guy come out and fire a gun with blanks, and the slave was going, he's going for the record. That's great. I love Guar.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. If even Dave's like, yeah, we probably took that a little bit too far, but whatever.
It is, after all, comparatively rare for an African American cop to kill a suspect in the line of duty. According to the tracking data released by ProPublica, black officers pull the trigger only 10% of all fatal incidences.
Yeah.
And when they do, 8 out of 10 of the suspects are black. Oh, fuck. That statistic was not likely known to the mass of protesters who took over Tyrone Street and other avenues, climbed atop a marquee of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, or bashed random car windows.
No, because they don't do research. Nobody does research. Nobody does research. Give me something to protest, and I'll protest it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, here she is saying, the language of the unheard. God, what is the fucking full quote?
I don't know. We'll find it out later. I'm too lazy to fucking research it right now.
Keith Scott was black, an allegedly unarmed black husband and father living with disabilities. He had a traumatic brain injury sustained in 2015 motorcycle accident. The officer who shot him was black too, but the demonstrators would have been no less prone to believe the shooting was unjustified if it had been white. I embraced the pain for a time as the mayor called for a midnight curfew, allowing it to burn through me like the fires that alight on the streets of Charlotte, wondering how or even if the city would reconcile itself to the work that undoubtedly lie ahead.
Just a comment. Jerk off on the crowd. Yes, Guar used to, probably still does. Well, I don't know if they do after Odorous died, but yes, Guar always jacked off on the crowd.
Well, fucking the new frontman, what's his name?
Lothar.
Yeah, Lothar. I fucking gotta get back into it.
Mike Bishop from.
Yeah, I know who he is. It's just
He's the original
character
Beefcake.
name.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, his costume has a set of udders where his cock would be, so now he has like 8 cocks.
I am looking forward to the new Guar album because I don't think it'll be bad. I mean, like I said, Dave will never be replaced, but the new singer is an original Guar. Well, not original, but 87 or so. Guar, 87, 88. Guar member. So I think it'll be good. Anyway.
To be black and male living in America is to be under near constant fear of mistaken identity, irrespective of ethnic background of the responding officer. How many times was I stopped by cops just for talking to myself while I walked down the street? They thought I was planning something really fucked up and was going on a schizophrenic fucking rampage about to murder people.
The only person I've ever met who has had a roadside cavity search.
Yes. Gotta love that shit. But I think that was more or less to humiliate me and make me know, yeah, we got your by the balls on fucking circumstantial evidence. You can't do shit. Ha ha ha. Years after I stopped selling drugs. Guess they were pissed off because I didn't lead them to Mr. Big. Anyways, whether confused for an actual suspect description sought by law enforcement or regarded immediately as inherently prone to violence and thus an explicit threat during otherwise routine encounters, the 3 most recent years for which FBI numbers are available, black men are 21 times more likely than their white peers to be killed by police. These are our husbands, fathers, and brothers. All too frequently, when we raise our voices about the demonstrably and quiet, inequitable encounters with law enforcement, that's okay, and recorded disparities in police violence, when we complain about invariably broad physical descriptions or about shooting of unarmed victims. I'm just remembering whenever I fit the description of someone that they were looking for, because it was just that broad and idiotic. And then and then while they're searching me, they got the call on the radio. They actually busted the bastard 2 blocks away.
See, actually, it was just because they hated you.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't hate you?
Mm-hmm. And when a black officer is involved, their ethnicity is often used as counter-argument to racial animus, as if an African-American cop cannot harbor implicit or explicit bias against other people of African descent.
Hold on,
what,
I've just seen the coolest thing. We've released a new £5 note recently. It's plastic. It's a note, but it's plasticky. You can use the corner of it as a stylus to play a record.
I want to play Rain and Blood with that.
It's a turntable.
Slayer
so our money can be used to play records.
Slayer Seasons in the
America.
Abyss. Slayer Seasons in the Abyss turned 26 yesterday.
For them, bigotry is dead, and the presence of a badge is exculpatory evidence. I'm not saying bigotry is dead, but fuck. Everyone's got to be self-hating in order to do anything. God.
I hate myself, but that's a different story. Basically, because I hate everyone.
This I know. Without question, black officers have participated in and even led the implementation of policing practices as beat officers, unit commanders, and police chiefs that have resulted in disparate outcomes in non-white communities. The 1994 federal legislation that prompted and partially funded the hiring of new police officers brought more African American men and women into the ranks is universally understood to have resulted in over-policing in non-white neighborhoods and the mass incarceration of black people. God. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can't comment because I haven't seen these statistics, so I can't comment.
I haven't seen statistics, but I know a few things are at play here. One is, God, there are a lot of people fucking getting popped for minor drug possession charges, which to me is complete bullshit. I mean, get the fucking pedophiles, rapists, and murderers off the streets. You know, not these fucking guys that have a fucking dime bag on them. Which, surprisingly, I see a lot more white faces going to jail for drug-related charges than black in my area. But that is fucking just me looking at the news. I'm certain it differs from area to area who's in possession. Another thing is, I've seen people try to state that these statistics are complete bullshit because they do include soft crimes like pot, without actually looking at the hardcore fucking crime evidence of, let's say, murder, where, you know, it's about 50-50. You know, blacks commit, you know, about 50% of murders. Whites commit about the other 50% of murders in the U.S. With, you know, everyone else fucking being a minority percentage. Now then, but you have to remember that blacks are still a minority in the fucking populace. So, like, we got about 20% of the nation committing 50% of the crime. And that's murder, not fucking drug trafficking. So, I think the article we read the other week about fucking math being racist because statistics can do fucked up shit, well, yeah, that's going to lead to some fucked up fucking incarceration numbers. On the other hand, if we pay absolutely no heed to these numbers, we're not going to be a benefit to black communities because most murders are like on like. Most black murders are committed by black people. So, that would actually benefit the community if more black kids survived instead of being gunned down by other black kids. And that's about all I can say on it.
Yeah, okay, continue. I have nothing really to add.
Okay. Arguably, the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act and companion pieces of state legislation did more to solidify and advance post-Jim Crow segregation. What about our fucking college campuses?
Ball pits and other things.
Yes, let's sit up.
Look, we said we wouldn't call it a ball pit. It's a spherical encapsulation.
There we go. And on top of it all, we got the
spherical space, a spherical pen.
And of course, we have blacks saying we need our own fucking space, and now committing an entire housing unit at college campuses to solely house black people because they want to reenact Jim Crow. Enjoy.
Yes, I always thought they wanted to integrate. I was always in favor of, talking to people of all different backgrounds and things like that. But, apparently that's not what they want anymore.
When my mother's husband walked the beat, there were no squad car dashboard cameras, and it was a year before the proliferation of civilian smartphones with videotape capability.
Now I know the millennials won't understand this, but that era actually existed. Although dash cams are fairly old. I remember seeing dash cam footage of the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, they were quite old in police cars. They weren't things that civilians generally owned.
Yeah, but so smartphones came around like 2011 or so, but dash cams have been around since the 90s. So what kind of warp time zone are you in? Somewhere between 1998 and 2012.
Okay. Today there's greater security, thanks in part to sunshine laws and social media, where an officer fires their gun. However, until officers of the law, black and white, are trained to eschew implicit and explicit racial bias and advance equal protection, we can expect more national news stories and more unfortunate social media hashtags.
Now, is this new? Or is this being covered more? Is this new, or is this I mean, there are a lot of instances in the past of police misidentifying armed people as unarmed and freaking out. And maybe it also has to do with the, cops are dressed as Gestapo soldiers now with armor. And let's face it, most of these cops aren't going to fire weapons. Most of these cops are going to. So I think a lot of it is, well, I have this armor on and I have this stuff. I might as well use it. Because let's face it, a lot of them aren't going to fire weapons. A lot of them are going to issue parking fines and eat donuts. So I think there's a lot of factors into this. And I think a lot of it, I think only part of it is what he's talking about. I think a lot of it is the cops' mentality, not about race, but about how they're trained, how they're meant to use weapons, and how they're meant to do this, and what they wear. And I think a lot of it is just this has been, this is now being covered a lot more. And with the annoying social, I don't think they're horrible. I think they're annoying fucking hashtags.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that's one thing that there's this thing called disproportionate association. I think I've mentioned it on this before, but for people who are new or weren't listening, it's kind of where we see things represented a certain way, disproportionately to what they are in reality, but we learn to associate these things based on this disproportionate sample. So if you only ever saw like representations of, say, black people as being bad, you only ever met 5 black people and 4 of them were just pricks in life. It would lead you to conclude that all black people are pricks.
You see, that just reminds me of why my fucking friends turned into neo-Nazis, because the majority of people that were bullying them around throughout middle school and high school were black. I came to a different conclusion. Why? Because most of the people bullying me throughout high school were fucking white.
For me,
But you
it
know
was
what's funny?
a mixed thing, so I just realized that people were scum anyway.
When it comes to the media, disproportionate representation is they can show you that one guy out of 5 who's an asshole, but then it suddenly becomes that all 5 are assholes, and that's one thing that we need to sort of be conscious of with these sort of things. And these people, unfortunately, don't ever reflect on what they're thinking.
I don't mean to cut you off, but someone made a good comment that Daryl Gates, our beloved overlord of Los Angeles, brought the first SWAT teams to the U.S., and they were meant to be specially trained for special situations. Now you have people who aren't really SWAT teams, but are pretty much SWAT teams as general
officers.
As general officers. Yes, the SWAT teams were meant to be special situations. I completely agree with that statement.
Because it stands for Special Weapons and Tactics.
Yes. Well, yes. So yeah, that's a very good point. See, I'm glad I checked the chat now. You sometimes get some good stuff.
And also, we do have to work "My Shit Stinks" into our national anthem.
Yes, we do. Oh, he said it made. I was also trying to think of what would be a great. I think another good song for the debate would be the Solomonizer. Wouldn't that be just awesome? Someone just comes out and
I shouldn't give a shit, but I don't give a fuck, yo.
Here's a little story from a god to a slave. I never should have been the fucking microwave.
Yep. Anyways, last one here. Black Lives Matter leader says, "We will incite riots everywhere if Trump wins." Oh, God. Let's see how bad this gets.
Some who became cops were bullied in school and then became bullies themselves. That's some. I know some. I don't know about cop, but I know some gym teachers and military sergeants who are like that. And security guards, because security guards, look, security guards are like cops, but too incompetent to be cops. Yeah, too incompetent. So, but a lot of them were people who I would know like 3 years earlier as like the kid who got beaten up, and now they're, now they're trying to be Mr. Badass. I'm like, look, you're too dumb to be a cop.
Anyways, though the outcome of America's presidential election is still up in the air, no, it's not. Fucking Trump's been running to lose since he started. Black Lives Matter has made it clear that the outcome is certain. If Donald Trump is the victor, violence will erupt in the streets. Dear white people, if Trump wins, this young niggers, such as myself, are fully hell-bent on inciting riots everywhere we go. Just so you know.
Good. You know what? It's kind of like the Brujeria
That's okay.
song.
Trump's going to be the kind of person who'll authorize the police to shoot you.
It's kind of like the Brujeria song "Vive Presidente Trump," where it basically said, if you don't know who Brujeria is, they're kind of a joke, kind of Mexican drug lord band featuring Shane Embury and Napalm Death, who's very much British. But the point is that they're like a undercover, or they're drug lords running from the CIA, and that song's basically, we want Trump to become president because he wants to build a wall around America, and if he does that, we'll just declare war, and we'll get El Chapo to declare war on you. So yeah, I think Trump being president will be fun, and a bunch of riots and wars.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing was that not many drug lords actually ran from the CIA. I thought quite a few drug lords were run by the CIA.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but this is
Mentioning no Taliban, Al Qaeda, or anything
yes,
like
but
that.
this is yes, but we're talking about the Mexican grindcore band, not Taliban or Al Qaeda.
Yeah, but I'm
Anyways.
sure there's quite a few Mexican drug lords that are fucking pocketing with the CIA.
Yes, but you're overthinking the pure joke value of the band, which are these guys in like masks and masks and stage names singing about killing white people, while having Shane Embury, Jeff Walker from Carcass, and Jello Biafra on in the band, who by the way are all white.
Anyways, Tef Poe, who made this quote, is the co-founder of the Hands Up organization out of Ferguson, Missouri. His
Oh yeah,
organization,
Ferguson. That's good.
his organization chose its name based off the false narrative that Michael Brown, a teenage thug, had his hands up and back turned to an officer when he was shot.
Now, what website is this from?
This is from the U.S. Chronicle, so I don't know. It's probably right-leaning. I don't care.
Yeah, I think so. So take what it says with a grain of salt.
Well, no,
By the way, hang on a second.
was a myth. He didn't have his hands up, saying "Don't shoot."
Yeah. The Hands Up, Don't Shoot movement represents that Mike Brown was unarmed. Hands up or not, he didn't have a weapon. Forensic evidence and a grand jury found that, weapon or not, Michael Brown was assaulting a police officer and trying to take Officer Darren Wilson's gun.
Yeah, but these people don't like facts. I mean, they campaigned for fucking dash cam footage to be used, and when the dash cam footage doesn't really agree with their fucking narratives, they chimp out anyway and start fucking smashing up shops.
Mm-hmm. Trump wins, ain't no more rules, famo. We've been too nice as is. With riots in the streets. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, and have you seen, like, just the innocent white people just getting assaulted? There was, like, some white homeless man in a poor neighborhood just stood by a bin, just leaning on the bin. Old white homeless man. And these black people just fucking attack him simply because he's white.
Long story short, y'all know the drill. Inaccurate info and slander can't stop the wave. We're on the love vibration right now. With riots in the street? God, that's love.
Yes.
Oh, God. Since the comments from Poe have caught the public's attention, the Black Lives Matter leader has since deleted his posts with accusations that he is being slandered.
I couldn't find it on Snopes, which is kind of my go-to thing because I actually found something I wanted to post until I realized that it was fake. That was one of the things that that Mikey guy posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I looked and I was like, oh, fake.
Oh, God.
People hate it when I do that too. They're like, oh, stop ruining my narrative.
Yeah, and it comes from all sides.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But
John
Snopes,
Cleese's the perfect thing about extremism.
Snopes is your friend, basically, if you want the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if you believe certain things, if you believe, yeah, you've told me about the John Cleese extremist thing about it before. If you believe certain things, Snopes is actually in cahoots with Hillary Clinton and the CIA to turn people into reptiles or some shit.
No, but there is actually some validity to the pro-Hillary leanings of Snopes, and that you've got to take sometimes what they say with a grain of salt, because the people who do it aren't, aren't people who come from a proper background that gives them any sort of real authority as investigators.
Well, no one has real authority as investigators. I mean, would you trust someone who came from a proper background either? Because if you do, and you don't take that with a grain of salt either.
If somebody, well, no, I'm going to be more inclined to trust the investigations of somebody that, has some proper sort of investigatory background, i.e. somebody who's been trained in investigations.
I'll question them as much as I question you.
Anyways, that's all I got for today.
And by the way, just the thing I wanted to post was that people aren't actually banning. The U.S. will not be banning clown masks. That was a Snopes. That was a rumor on some tabloid website that Snopes debunked that the U.S. would ban clown masks.
Yeah.
And that was not real.
Anyways, like I said,
Hang on, fuck. Calm down.
praise Jesus, hallelujah.
Praise
Suck my
Satan.
cock,
Shut up.
Satan.
Welcome. This has been the Swine Brothers Show, episode 116 for the whatever today is of October 2025. You can email us if you'd like to. If you don't, you don't have to. At ellindamood@gmail.com. The Facebook page is Swine Brothers and Twitter's SwineBro666. Of course, I should be saying that because all the links are on the video itself, including the link to my Facebook for whatever reason. For Chaz, who joined late because he's a moron. For the Jim, who's annoying. Thanks to everyone who left chat comments and improved the show. I am your host, Ellindamood. We'll see you Friday.
You gotta grab that pussy day at the Nassau County Animal Shelter Cat Adoption Day.